Today is August 13th, 2022. Of course I had to remove a lot of my storage, like make storage space on my phone, because all of a sudden it'll tell me that it's full, that the 64 gigabytes that I have on my phone is entirely used up. And we all know that's a lie. I wish you would understand that I need to get my point across. I need to get my life story across to people so that they can understand how life is nowadays, how the government treats people, how fathers treat mothers, how damned the world is around us. So, last night I was sleeping in my car and did manage to I want to say procure, to secure a location to where I haven't been harassed yet, going in and out to just use the facilities, use the restroom. What's the big deal? They get paid for it. They get paid by my insurance in order for me to step foot in their facility. You'd think it would be a win-win. You would think that I would manage to just survive and these people would shut their fucking mouths. But of course they didn't want to get paid down in Hot Springs, and that's why they kept kicking me out of every facility. And even that dumbass on the phone was saying something about, Hot Springs didn't want you. I don't want Hot Springs. I don't want any of those trash-ass towns. Why would I want to be associated with people that don't know how to do their jobs right? With ignorant fools that don't know how to regulate themselves, let alone to professionalize themselves and what they're doing in their careers, like the officers and the judiciaries, all of it. Why would I want to be associated with trash? The same concept with my family. Why would I want to be forced back into that? If not to try to help them, but yet nobody's understanding from my perspective. They're all ignorant and they all just want to stay in that pathetic state of mind where they haven't done anything wrong. And that's why men, a majority of the time, are fearful of me. They call me intimidating because I know what they're after. I know what they've done. I know that the more that we progressively communicate, that I could capture any of that evidence on film or evidence on some type of media, and they would be fucked because of the way that they interact with me, because of the way that they devalue me, degrade me. And they, we had set up a relationship based upon respect, or so what I had thought, so I had thought with all of these people. If you go to the correspondence between people, everyone and I, the men and I, all of that, especially during dating, where they had presumed that I was going to be dumb. They presumed that, I'm looking for shelter. Oh my God, can you just give me a safe place to sleep? So, and I mean safe. No, I didn't mean safe. I meant safe. I meant do you not know me? No, apparently you don't. You don't realize that I went to better schools than you majority of the time, and that I was highly educated. For some weird reason, I have issues toward men because of their aggression and their sexual prowess and all of these things where they've manipulated and violated me due to their sexual urges. Oh, I wonder why I have a chip on my shoulder. I wonder why I tell people, I would give you a kiss, but your mouth is disgusting. Every flaw about you is irritating to me. So that's why people, they're like, well, then go somewhere else. Arkansas don't want you. I don't want Arkansas if you don't have your fucking teeth. If you can't understand the cigarette smoke and all of that tar and the nicotine is getting to your brain also, and all this fast food and all that, we got to go get some deer meat. Buy what? The contaminated deer? Buy all those steers that you got? The mad cows you got? Real men eat meat. Yeah, and end up with coronary fucking heart attacks and all this diabetes and everything. because you didn't do the research, didn't realize that type 2 diabetes stems from eating animal products and meat products. Good for you. So, I'm sick and tired of this. I know that I'm very irritated this morning. That's why the camera didn't want to video. It knew. It's like, oh God, Leticia, you're going to sit there and berate everyone. You're going to put everyone down and be condescending. Well, why shouldn't I be? Why shouldn't I? I'm sorry. I'm over here sleeping in my car. I only have so much money. I only have so much, so much mental fortitude to continue on like this. I only have so much time because I'm literally about to give birth to a man's baby that I don't know. Like, I don't know the man. We met one time for one evening. I told him he was gross, and he decided he wasn't gross and thought that they wouldn't be gross if we made a child together. No, that's like tenfold gross. Like literally we were repulsed by one another, and you're gonna sit there and act like this child is going to be accepted in the world. Two wrongs don't make a right. Let's put it that way. So I knew I had issues. I knew I had flaws. I knew I shouldn't have procreated. I knew I shouldn't have, engaged in coitus, engaged in sexual intimacy, like I had stated on my profile. Clear proof that I am exactly who I say I am. I don't lie. I don't manipulate the situations, and that's why people are fearful. That's why they make up a bunch of nonsense to try to combat what I state, because it's all proven. All the CCTV cameras that have caught me and monitored me, as I'm sitting there texting people, all the timestamps on all the interactions that I've had, all the timestamps on videos, all the timestamps on photos, all the timestamps on, my map, not MapQuest, but you know what I'm saying, the maps that I've used in order to get places, all the timestamps on the receipts that were purchased. You don't need those paper receipts either. There are ways of finding out this information. It's just they don't want to place the effort because there was no murder in this instance. There's only a creation of life, which is still a violation, still completely a violation of my body. So that's what people don't understand. You have literally human trafficked me. I literally wanted nothing to do with this child, wanted a plan B as a sensible, independent woman, and I didn't get that from the father, and yet he's out gallivanting, doing whatever he wants to, having whatever relationships and relations with women that he wants because he's free. He doesn't have an extra 30 pounds to have to hide. And I can't just go do that. No woman could. They get these sleazy men that want to fuck them while they're pregnant, and then all of a sudden, drop it like it's hot when the baby's there irritating them, because it's not their child. It's not their problem the child came into the world. It was the fact that the woman spread her legs, right? No, not every time. Not every fucking time. Now, I'm pretty fucking sure that regardless of how tender he was, how gentle he was during the night, and that's why I wasn't fully awake, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt him at first. But the further he went in, that's, obviously that's why I woke up, because it's just how it is. Some women, I'm a very sound sleeper. In the middle of the night, I've had all kinds of shit happen to me. Waking up to my brother, doing disgusting shit to me. Waking up to my father hovering over my bed. Waking up and having my shirt, sweaters, everything up over here, not even knowing. And then I realized, oh, that never happened after I left home. That never happened anymore after I had left my daddy's care, and that's why I drew that picture, daddy's girl. So I feel like people don't understand where I'm coming from, why I'm traumatized, why I can't function in the world around me, and I'm trying to just tell you, he did it. 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 They won't stop touching me. I didn't come over here for that. I didn't say that was okay. I said no. They did it. JW did it. Regardless of if it's his or not, no one cares. No one cares if it's yours. Really. Honestly, truly. The fact of it is that it was forced upon me. It's technically my child. I technically have been raising it, rearing it, doing the best I fucking can. Even with the fucking fragility of my mind at this time. Because I have nowhere to put it. I have nowhere to store it. I have nowhere to hide it away. Secret it from the world. You know? Secrete. Yeah. I have no way of maintaining this child on my own. Because financially I made less than $1,000 a month. And then for 4 months last year, my allotment was stolen from me because my ex-husband lied to the Social Security Administration and told them that I wasn't affording for my daughter. So they ripped away $4,316. And no one is looking into it. Everyone just keeps stabbing me, keeps irritating me like a bunch of hornets constantly. Just like I got into a hornet's nest, like it's my girl, and I'm about to get fucking stung and fucking asphyxiate to death because I know damn well I'm probably allergic. Anything that pricks me that much, I've got to be allergic. So, anyway, or at least just try to avoid it. Try to avoid the encounter entirely. And that's why when I was out dating and sleeping in people's beds, who the fuck cares? We didn't do anything. It should be wholesome like that. Instead of people presuming that I was a slut. Excuse me, I've got medical records that prove that pussy is fucking tight. That pussy has not been altered. Also, all the fucking testing, all the fucking blood work. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I've lain next to people that had herpes. And I didn't get herpes. Why is that? Because I made sure when I used their toilet seat that I placed stuff down on their toilet seat, as well as when I was, interacting or engaging with any of their belongings. I didn't want to contaminate myself. And I feel bad because I know that sounds terrible, but at the same time, I didn't put myself in that situation to where I was interested and wanted to hear their lies progressively. I mean, I stayed the evening with one individual, and by morning, he had told me. He's like, well, just so you know. What? And you still wanted to cuddle up next to me to the point where you were trying to coerce me into engaging in intercourse? That's interesting to me. Very interesting. So you would actually lie to... That's illegal. That's literally illegal. Like, you can sue somebody for giving you an STD because they knew that they had it and they didn't inform the person. So that's what's horrifying with all of my encounters, because there's proof, there's living proof that I have not fornicated with every man that I've gone to his house. I've not fornicated with people I stay the night. People actually they started pinging my phone quite, before what all this happened, to see what's wrong with this girl. Why does she keep placing herself in danger? Why does she keep placing herself in the line of fire? Well, first of all, I have no life. First of all, second of all, I was abused immensely, and now I have nothing. Third of all, my belongings were all stolen from me a few years ago because everyone believed that my ex-husband was, for some reason, vulnerable to me. And it was the other way around. He completely abused me, left me with 2 loaded guns so that I would clear myself from the earth so his secrets would not leak out. And you're going to tell me that this is normal? You're going to tell me that going 37 weeks alone during this pregnancy, that's normal? No, I should have had a partner. That's what I was looking for, a partner. Someone that would be there through the thick and thin, that would understand, I'm going to want to stab you if I get pregnant. Just so you know, I'm going to want to rip your fucking dick off. But it's okay because we still have an understanding. I won't do that unless you cheat on me. So I'd mentioned that to my ex-husband, and he got all weird. And I realized, oh, I see. You cannot refrain from cheating on me. The same thing with JW, the same thing with, the other potential father. I knew that none of them were capable of being gentlemen. None of them were capable of refraining from abusing a woman. They could marry the woman, they could have years with the woman, but that doesn't mean that they would be satiated within that relationship. Whereas a woman is like, okay, no, you're my partner. I understand that you want to have sex with everything that moves. I get that. But you need to calm the fuck down, because we're not that devolved. It's 2022, and you're going to tell me that you need to seek out more bitches to whore around and have more babies with, that you can't afford, that you can't take care of, that you can't, finance or emotionally support or be there for every sort of ailment they might have or issue. That's sad. Men are so pathetic. They are so pathetic in my eyes, so many of them, and I try so hard to just be kind and understanding, because I'm like, oh, intellectually, mentally, physically, you are less than, because you can't refrain. You can't have any self-discipline. You're not determined enough to have self-respect in that way, and to respect that person that you promised forever. So your words don't matter. So that's why when I started saying about all this shit about killing my ex-husband and everything, why is it that my words mattered? Oh, I don't understand. That's really interesting. It's a paradox in that way. It's weird how I can utilize the same hypocritical formatting and throw it in somebody's face to say, excuse me, well, didn't I show you? After I was very calm and patient with you, I wanted to see what you would do first. I wanted to see how you would react. I wanted to see. But then nobody's taking this seriously. Nobody's taking this seriously. That's why I got to the extreme of sharing it publicly on social media platforms, so that I could expose the truth, so that I could expose how men truly are and how they truly react to women, how I can disclose the trauma I've sustained, and most people, most women especially, have sustained at the words in conjunction with the actions of the men, because they were contradictory actions. So why is it that we can't fully sue them, fully remove their livelihood, because they did nothing but remove my livelihood? I have no home. I have no more companion animals. Those were not just breeding dogs. They slept with me. They went places with me. They were my children. They were my emotional support animals. So without all of that, everyone thought, she's fine. She's not doing anything. She's not acting out. We can go ahead and continue to harass and abuse her. She's not going to act out. She's not going to bite the hand that feeds her. Of course not. Because that would make me a sheep, right? Bah. But what do I keep doing? Going for the fucking jugular. That's what I keep doing, because there's nothing I can do. That's why I try to film everything on, that's why I spontaneously just have to protect myself and my well-being by disclosing the types of trauma that is being inflicted upon me daily. And I wish I had a body cam at all times, because my reality is very much of that victim. If people can see it, people that can feel it, they can feel the pain that I still have harbored inside of me. And I walk around trying to hide it when I'm dressed nicely, trying to hide it with a, feigned smile. But my facade doesn't fool anyone. They know this girl has been damaged, and she's lived and seen hell, and she's come back to tell us about it. So, and that's exactly right. I mean, there are not many people that can get to the point of being so violated, so manipulated, so, glazed over by all of the pharmaceuticals, glazed over by lies, glazed over, just coerced into believing a different reality. And I was forced into believing that my ex-husband still owns my daughter for 6 years. So when I reached out and I tried to explain through letters, and I said, well, that's not the godly manner. I'm not sure what happened in that courtroom that day. I wasn't invited, essentially, to speak my mind. I wasn't invited because also, too, I was on a shit ton of pharmaceuticals. And even at that time, I believe I was on a bunch of Xanax, 90 bars a month that they prescribed me. So, and it can all be traced. I repeat these things over and over and over again because they are truth. Because they are my reality. Because I'm having to fight the devil daily. Because they're not giving me my things back. They're not issuing my belongings back like, the proud and sensible and respectably honorable people that they're supposed to be. Because they live in their own realm of being in part of the government and working for these offices, and everyone knows my story. The whole entirety probably of Hot Springs with the authorities down there, and different people know. Why does this girl keep targeting us? That is a question we should ask me. Yeah. Why do you keep targeting me? Why did you allow my ex-husband, who was an attempted murderer, attempted to cause me my suicide, which I know that there's a term for it, that's, legally I could sue for all of this shit. Legally, I could have sued for the doctor that fired me at 37 weeks pregnant with my daughter and caused me to be in danger because he was a man, and first time I'd ever seen him. My ex-husband knows he was there. I'm sure he wouldn't denounce at least that truth. That I told the guy no. I told him, I was like, no, there's going to be no man other than my husband reaching down into my cooch when I'm giving birth. It's already traumatic enough that I'm going to be ripped in half. So, and no, I still wouldn't. No shaman, no any of that. You've got a dick. If you're interested in women, there's no reason you should be looking at my vagina. It's mine. But then again, I realized too, all the contaminated, electronics that we have, tampered electronics, taking our photos, understanding that it's not just our private time. These are not private moments. Nothing captured this way and that is privatized anymore. Everybody's got it through, the FBI, CIA's got their documentation of what's going on to make sure everybody's on the up and up, and there's, they have integrity of their own to sit there and follow through with the things that they say and do. And they knew that I would try to follow through as best I can with the people around me, but I have avoidant personality disorder, and I also have, antisocial disorder due to all of the trauma, due to all of the overwhelming abuse, and that I cannot trust the people that are talking straight to my face, let alone the people that I was raised around, or the people that are in these authoritative positions. Because what did you do? What did you do? I gave birth to a child and you ripped her away after a few years because all these monsters were lying about me in court. And just because I couldn't stand up for myself and you didn't issue an advocate and you didn't issue a public defender, I'm pretty sure it's your fault that I lost my child. And that signature that was never notarized, never had anybody, there was no witness in that way. Who was the witness? Oh, my mother. And we've seen video of how my mother interacts with me and interacts with my situations, and how she's blinded by the abuse, blinded by the issues, because she doesn't see it. Oh, let's put on, okay, it's more like this because she loves horses. She's obsessed with them. She had them for a little while when she was young, and that's her obsession. She's got blinders on, just like a horse. And I hate to make fun of people with their own personality, their characteristics, what they like. I hate that. I really hate being condescending. I hate doing this. I hate breaking it down to your level, giving it back to you piece by piece, how you have fed it down my fucking throat. I wish I could just be appropriate, articulate, eloquent, sensible and lovely in that manner of getting up and doing my hair and being happy and doing things spontaneously just to engage my imagination and my creativity so that I can, follow through with a positive day. Instead, I have to wake up in my car and it never ends. I've been doing this for nearly 2 years, and I talked to them at the housing authorities. I had told them how much need I am because I'm disabled and I get manipulated easily, and I might end up in a situation that would, result in something that I wouldn't be able to control. And not even on the end that I was being promiscuous. I was abstaining for a majority of those years. When 6 years without birth control, you've got to admit, that's not a whore right there. That's not a slut. That's somebody that is determined to try to build up her self-respect because she had lost it for so many years due to the words and actions of all of these vile individuals that abused and manipulated me. So I thought I had no worth. That's why I'd gotten over 300 pounds. But then that was a part of my story that just intrigues people. How could you have been over 300 pounds? I just weighed myself this morning, 185, at 9 months pregnant. I think I'm doing fairly well comparatively because when I gave birth to my daughter, I was like 220 pounds, somewhere in there. And I had suffered from preeclampsia because of that obesity. I'm trying. But what my psychologist would say is, I'm actually doing what others couldn't manage to do. And that is utilizing my freedom of speech in order to engage the world into understanding from my perspective what has truly gone on. Because I've had plenty of therapy. I've ripped this apart a million different ways. And I found out what the truth was. God explained the truth to me, and that's why I was frightened. That's why before they came and arrested me 3 years ago, my house was full of religious sort of memorabilia, because I knew that Satan was lurking at my doorstep every single day. I knew something was coming. Something very, very big was coming, and it was a change in my life. And I ended up being homeless, and I thought, this is just God's way of teaching me to value the things that I had and that I wasn't keeping up with them as best as I could have. But then I also see it from the other perspective where it's like, wait a second, they could have been a little bit more lenient. They could have understood. They could have not harassed me to the point of insanity. They could have not harassed me to the point of, suicide attempts. They could have, but the government didn't care. My family didn't care. They've never cared. They wish I were dead because if I were still alive, I continued to harp about, hey, guess what? All of this stuff was illegal. Did you know that all that was illegal? Did you know that it's not right? Did you know that also too, like with the father of this baby and everything, did you know that that was unconsensual? Did you understand that? I'm pretty sure I did. That's why I was horrified and very scared, didn't know how to react, thought we were in a relationship for that fragment of a moment because I was like, well, I don't know what to say or do. Did you like me that much? Apparently not. Oh, and what's up with those messages, Candy Dean, over on Messenger? Huh? What's up with those messages that you removed? Oh, so that I couldn't screenshot them to share with the world how you've been harassing me or try to give me inside information about JW that I don't give a fuck about. Why would I care? Why do I care if he has moved on and progressed? Good for him. He will still be cursed tenfold after all this entire ordeal with me. Just saying, that's just how the universe works. People think they laugh. They're like, no way, they're never gonna. They will. It happens. You think I'm fucking joking. Why do you think I'm on my knees at this very moment saying praise to God every day for just the running water that I get, for the food that I get, for the gas that I'm allotted, for the shelter of this vehicle? I thank God every single day. It may not look like it because my belongings are strewn everywhere. But I am going through a lot right now. Being this far along pregnant, it's very, very difficult for me to maneuver my body in all these different ways, let alone trying to figure out how to sustain myself during having to give up, emotionally detaching from this child so that I'm prepared when I have to relinquish him to, to wherever, to whatever proper authorities, whatever proper, housing that he'll get. Even though it didn't matter that I was sensible enough, I could have breastfed, I could have been the mother that everyone saw toward my daughter. That's why everyone had their jealousies. That's why everyone had their issues, because I was there, maintaining her every moment of the day. They didn't do that with their own children, so they felt jealousies. Then they tried to put things on me. Well, you don't work. Well, you don't do this. Well, you don't do... Well, you didn't either, bitch. I don't know what you're being a hypocrite about, why you're criticizing me. My mother said the same thing. My ex-mother-in-law said that kind of shit too. Excuse me, what? I'm sorry. And my sister probably said some shit about me. Everyone always talks shit about me. Everyone is always going to. Why? Because I tried to appropriate myself better in life than they had. And they're, for some reason, jealous. For some reason, intimidated by all of the accomplishments that I've had and made, and all the things that the people enjoy to help me with. I didn't get help like that. Well, maybe you didn't put effort into yourself. Maybe you didn't put effort into building relationships that were strong and well balanced. Whereas I always attempted to put my best foot forward in a relationship, any type of relationship, whether it be a friendship, some type of intimate relationship, some type of, a family relationship, professional in that manner of any kind of doctors. I try to place my best self forward so that they can see from that perspective, yes, I'm trying to engage. But all these years, everyone in my family, everyone, my ex-husband, after they beat the shit out of me, she's not getting any better. She's not making any progress. Look at her. She's the same person. She's still abusing us with my words. I'm sorry, you physically assault me, and that doesn't count? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. What type of fucking, crater did you crawl out of? What type of, did you hide your horn and your hooves that easily? Where's your tail? Because that's all I see. Where's your pitchfork? I don't understand. I do not understand. You're going to blame the victim for the rest of her fucking life for speaking out. And I knew that happened when I was 12. I was like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? So, yeah. 37 weeks pregnant. No father. Everyone's blaming me. Everyone's attacking me because I haven't been able to support myself. I'm sorry that it took me 3 times the amount of fucking money to fucking feed myself and to keep myself from killing myself. I'm so sorry that I took resources from someone else that was more valuable, or someone that was more, privileged in that way. I'm so sorry. I'm pathetic, and I should know that I should die off, because look at all the people that I'm associated with. All my acquaintances. All trash individuals anyway. Why is it that I wanted to strive for more? Why did I always have that dream of going off to a university and making something of myself so I could build healthy relationships that would be able to get me out of trouble if I ever had them, But no. Instead, I ended up with this. When I get in trouble, I have to go back to the one phone number that I have stored in my brain. There's 2, actually, my ex-husband's number as well. Still there. I don't know why. I try to push it out as best I can, but it's still there right now. And my mother. That's it. The 2 people that I thought I could trust the most at that time years ago. And now waking up and realizing, and I memorized JW's number. I memorized it for quite some time. I'm not really sure why. I think it was just because I had harassed him so many times. tried to text him so many times in order for him to understand, hey, my body's like changing, like there's something wrong. What we did was wrong. What had happened between us was not okay. You're not here. You are like a dead person. Like, you literally mean nothing to me. You're no one to me. And all of a sudden I have this creation inside of me, and my body feels weird every single day, and it's morphing into something, I can't handle. Because look at me, I look atrocious. I look hideous. And the weight is just, it's unbearable. It really is, because having lost all the weight, gained it back for this little amount of time, without any semblance of emotional support, it was not worth it. It was not worth it. I would never recommend somebody go off and get pregnant without getting married first and having that support system. I never recommend it. I was always against, premarital sex. I'd done that for so long, and then when I was 16 and my brother and my dad started getting creepier and creepier, I had to give it away to someone, because I knew that I was about to get traumatized if I didn't. If I didn't force myself into engaging with someone else, then it was going to be ripped away from me. And even then, when I had sex the first time, I didn't bleed. And I didn't ride horses. I rode a bike sometimes, but not to that extreme. Yeah. So I just know that my life is a shit show. I know that when I try to disclose these things to people, they don't want to hear it from a rational perspective, my perspective, which is rational. They want to still claim that I'm psychologically ill, that I am psychotic, that I've got schizophrenia, that I'm making things up. No, I have none of those things. Those things do not define me whatsoever. I may have bipolar, I may have borderline personality where, I presume the best in people. I still to this day want to see them as an individual, want to see them as, oh, okay, that's what you say you are? Oh, you're a marine biologist, okay, but you've got cowboy boots on and you're, bumming around in a Toyota Tacoma. Okay, one that's like from the 80s. Okay, whatever. Be whatever you say you want to be. I don't get into it. The same thing with like the father of this child. I still believe it's that second guy. I don't believe it was the first guy. Only because of the timing and what had happened, my menses that final day, the discharge from it. I tried to warn the father. I was like, hey, I need your help with this. If you're not going to help me, clearly all you did was use me. Clearly all you did was use me and rape me, and I should inform the authorities, because that is not a sensible way, an honorable way to act when you are part of the militia. That is so disrespectful toward women and disrespectful toward your fellow man and for, your fellow peers, because if you're going around doing that, what leaves... I could have been with someone. I could have had a decent relationship. There's so many people that I had engaged with that were still gentlemen. They had been in and out of the army. They'd never abused me like that. What's his name? With Sky, the dog. Kevin? Was that his name? I could have potentially been with someone like that, but he was a little irritated that I was so sort of, I wasn't pushy, but I kept asking and requesting for him to clean his house. And of course, that irritates men when they don't see it from a rational perspective, because he was going through depression. So, all of these things, I could have tried to be with someone that maybe was a little bit more simplistic like that was a simp and just wanted to be with me. But you took that away. You took that opportunity away from me and someone else. So the fact that you are just a karmic relationship, in that manner of a learning tool for me, a learning tool for others, a learning tool for yourself, because you should go to prison. There are no ifs, ands, or buts. If you chose to violate me and to manipulate the situation and gaslight me and tell me, I'll buy you anything you want, baby, and then 9 months later I'm popping out your child and you're not even there, I'm pretty sure that was just manipulation on your behalf, and there's no reason anyone should respect you and that you should have a title. And that's exactly what went through my head all prior to making the report, because I knew that after a week's time, after 7 days, took God 7 days to create the earth. After 7 days, you couldn't even create a text message to send to me to appease me, to even to try to manipulate the situation more. You didn't know what to do. You were scared. And I get that. I understand that. I felt that when I knew I'd text to him. At first he had some arousal toward it, is this girl lying? Is this, and he of course remembered both acts that we had performed. And I know sometimes when people are feeling certain ways because there is an attachment somehow with me and some people, but I don't want that anymore. And the same thing when this thing gets ripped out of me. I'm not about to waste my time on another fool like my ex-husband that didn't appreciate me and wouldn't, essentially kiss the ground that I walked on, or, to be there for everything that I do for them, because sex is a huge part of it. But men don't see it like that. They see it like, oh, they can get it anywhere, or they can get their emotional support anywhere. And that's not true. Women it's demanding for a woman to have to take care of every single thing, the household chores, the household, the children, everything. It's very demanding. And when people don't understand that, they think that being a housewife is not really a job. They believe that, the maintenance of the home is not really a job. It's just a part of it. And that's why it's like, okay, I understand. And if I were to make income, that would make me more valuable in your eyes. It shouldn't be about money. It should be about the fact that we were there to be considerate toward one another and to think of each other and to work toward building some types of goals. But instead, no, none of it. And that's really sad. I try so hard not to sit there and harp about this stuff because I've already said what I've needed to say. So when people are trying to say, oh, they're going to use your words, and you say one thing and you do, I say one thing, I say another thing. I try to compromise. I try to balance it out, see it from both perspectives so that I don't have a bias either way. And when these things get to that point, to that extreme, I have to disclose it verbally to someone, to anyone, so that I can figure out what I truly want. Somebody had asked me, well, what do you truly want? And I said, well, I've been praying for a family my entire life. A real family, one that loves me, one that is going to be there for me. But I haven't gotten that luxury. I haven't gotten that privilege. So all my prayers are for naught, because this is not a family. This is not the start of a family. This is the opposite of that. It's part of, luring me into a trap, luring me into a false sense of security to where this was supposed to be my blessing. And no, the Father ignored me. He ghosted me. There is no way that this could be viewed as a blessing in its entirety. I've suffered so much. I went to jail for the existence of this child. I went to jail for speaking my truth about being violated. No woman should have to deal with that. No woman, psychologically, you have no idea how painful it is to admit to myself that I'm a victim, to admit to myself that I was abused. And the fact that I harp about it, I don't necessarily even ask for, donations or any type of resources from any of you. I want it from the U.S. government. I want you to issue back the things that these other people have ripped away. Your people. Your people. Wait a second. I thought my, citizenship was established here. I thought I was also part of your people, even though I was a civilian. Because I was a patron. Because I prioritized the U.S. in that manner. I tried to follow all the rules and regulations. But really, you're just patronizing me. You're just violating me constantly and destroying me psychologically even more and more. Like, I just don't understand it. You know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to go have some McDonald's. I'm going to have some McDonald's this morning because I have no money. I have to regulate my cash. Make sure that I have enough to sustain myself for the next week so that I have that income in a week's time. It bothers me. It bothers me very much because I'm going to end up with physical pain due to the lack of financial support because this child was forced upon me. And I understand. Majority of people, they're like, oh, we can handle it. We're normal. I am not normal. We all know this. We all know I have health issues. I have mental instabilities, fragilities in that manner. I am not dangerous unless you force me to be. But then, why should you have to force me? I haven't done anything. Why are you violating me? Why are you stealing my rights, my freedoms? The ones listed in the amendments in the Constitution. Why? Why are you stealing and robbing from me, someone that is impoverished already and has been impoverished through everything, and she just manages to have her own riches through her own, self-satisfaction and her self-respect? That's where all of my riches are, deep within here. I don't even have a home, and I'm happier than most people. I don't even have access to certain things. I don't have access to TV. I don't have access. I have my phone, and I watch YouTube videos. That's not TV. So I realized how blessed I was prior to, that I got to at least sample some of different facets of life. I've never inconsiderate in that manner. Everyone always says, she's so ungrateful. Maybe to you physically, but not toward God. Not toward, the universe and everything around me. Maybe you perceive it as me being ungrateful because I spoke up against your mental issues. But that's not being ungrateful. That's me telling you, hey, guess what? God sees that. I see that. And you're not doing well. You need to alter something of your reality so that I don't feel offended so much. So you're going to tell me just because you feed me that I shouldn't act out or speak against you? Okay, Daddy. Okay, Daddy. So, yeah, people that take their power to an extreme and excess, that's why I had to draw that picture and disclose, hey, it's graphic content, but technically there's worse content there on YouTube, so I'm pretty sure this is just harassment a majority of the time because I have a special, they hold me to a different standard than other people. Like I'm just supposed to regulate myself perfectly, constantly, without having any fluctuated or outrageous emotions that cause people to see me as sick or see me as mentally ill or see me as, psychotic. Okay, I'm pretty sure if you went through the amount of trauma that I went through, you'd be caught naked on the side of the road freaking out from psych meds coming out of your brain too. Just saying. Like, all parts of my story, humiliating, but amazing, because I've at least lived through it to tell the tale. I'm still here. Why? Dear fucking God, why? I keep telling that to myself, like, what is the purpose of this? Just so that people can laugh at me? So they can just laugh at me? Like, this isn't even funny. Just because I smile about it later, just because I get over it easily, because I have a huge heart and I easily forgive people constantly, I'm not about to do that with this father. I'm not about to do that. Not at all. I am much more sensible now than I was 6 years ago with the forgiveness of the father of my other child. I understand now. You cannot have weakness when it comes to these types of issues. I'm not running from the law, mind you. I am fucking stressed, and I don't want to be placed in cuffs for nonsensical reasons that abuse me and this child even more, so that I'll have more resentment toward the entire situation. Please just let me fucking rest. The dad is already fucked. The dad is already fucked for not being able to offer me what he promised me, which was a safe place. This is not a safe place. You created something to push out into an unsafe world. Do you realize the detrimental effects of that, not just on this child, but on my body and mind and spirit, my soul, my heart, everything, my emotional stabilities? You robbed me. I told him in messages, you robbed me. I could have had an opportunity to be with someone by now and start a relationship, a healthy relationship. And you destroyed that opportunity for me right now. I have to wait until, and I said, well, it's just a year's time. I'll get my body back in order. I'll afterward, I really never thought that he would be that pathetic to just run. Never. It makes me feel so bad for this child, because he's going to know one day that his dad's a coward. He's going to know one day that his dad is a deserter. He's going to know one day that his dad was the worst type of person. Someone to take advantage of a woman in her weakened state. The sleeping state, And I understand you can't force people into changing. You can't force people into seeing it from a rational perspective. But what I tell people is completely rational, and that's why they are so considerate toward my personal needs and my personal story, because I'm not trying to get one over on anyone. I tried to be polite. I tried to just disengage. I tried to, forget about it. Forgive and forget, like I do with every single person. This baby is almost here. I can't believe that I made that Amazon wish list thinking that people were going to be nice about the situation. But instead, it was just another ploy for them to get me excited for something that'll never come. And I knew that my whole life. I always, my parents did the same thing. It would get me so excited, like my birthday was coming up, and I never received anything. I never even received attention in that way. My birthdays have come and gone, and my mother has forgotten them. Even when I came back this last time, nobody mentioned anything about my birthday having passed. And I know we shouldn't hold so much on that, but I wanted to feel special at least once throughout the year, and that's why I loved Christmas too. Not because we got a bunch of presents or anything, but because all these other families had all these other things, and I was so happy. Not jealous, just happy that they were happy. I realized how stupid that is. It's my whole life. I just sat in the sidelines, being grateful for what I had had, and everybody else had more. And I was just always so happy that I was part of my family, because I was grateful that they fed me and housed me. grateful that this person had gotten me a place to stay for 4 days. I'm so pathetic. I'm pathetic to think that there is good in the world. I'm pathetic to think that, good things happen to those who ate. Good things happen to those that are self-disciplined and are trying to go the righteous path, or not trying to harm anything or anyone around them. But yeah, I just, and then seeing that I'll have to give up this baby because, I see all these other women and they've got their nice stuff for their baby, and they've got a place, and they've got pretty clothes, and the baby deserves more than I can offer it. I don't have pretty clothes. They stole all my clothes when I was trying to find housing for me and the baby. So I don't have much for pretty clothes anymore. And that's pretty sad, because like when I get to the point of crying, it's like, whoa, there's something really wrong, because I'm a very strong person, and normally I don't let things get to me all that much anymore. Especially coming down from the psych meds, it's a lot easier to stabilize my emotions. And being on medicinal marijuana, it helps me to stabilize. So yeah, like I said, I don't have anything for this baby, and I thought that the Amazon wish list was real. I thought that people actually were trying to care. I thought people were actually trying to help me find a place, and that I would be able to keep the baby, and that I shouldn't have any worries, and, leave it to God, and God will figure it out. But I've been leaving everything to God, and I've been going through hell my whole life, and I know not to expect anything good, because God is both good and bad. God just is, just like the universe. It just is. So I know that it's okay. It's okay if I don't get to keep him, because that's what I had anticipated anyway when the father never responded. I knew there was no way, because raising like a bastard child, which is just the definition of it, bastard child is a baby born out of wedlock. That's not something I want in my story personally. I've known too many people that have done it themselves, and been a single mother, and I'm not going to adopt the baby out, because that would also, if I have the option, I'll just let him go into CPS custody, and they can bottle feed him and do whatever they think is normal to make him normal, to make him part of whatever system he deserves to be in, because being born to these types of people, the father is obviously a liar, the mother is a homeless person with mental illness, and that's our categorizations. So but yeah, it's none of my business. It's just what's going through me right now, my vessel, and I realize that I just need to stay calm, and it'll be over soon. It's like, hold your breath right before the shock. Sometimes you just have to brace yourself, and that's what I've been doing, because at first I thought, oh my God, people are actually getting me the things that I needed for my baby, like, bassinet and things like that, and, certain things for postpartum recovery, and, the breast stuff, and I was so excited, and I was like, you're right, this is not real. None of it was real. So I was like, all right, well, and I got over that pretty quickly and realized, oh, well, if I have nothing for him, and all these other ladies have fancy stuff for their stuff and babies, and they can afford to adopt another one and raise a foster child, and that's who deserves it then, the people with the material stuff, not the people with nothing like me, the homeless people We don't deserve anything. We don't even deserve respect. And we don't deserve to be listened to when we call the police. You know, we don't pay taxes, so that's how it goes. Although I do pay a lot of taxes. Still, I mean, I get a stipends. I get a government check, so I still have to pay taxes everywhere with all the stuff I do, and I have to overpay and stuff, and that's how I wasn't able to afford a house. People are so dumb. They keep asking, why can't you take your... It's less than $1,000. It's $900 a month I get, and it's not enough to sustain a house and a vehicle and myself and a baby. So that's why I just lived simplistically. Didn't even worry about getting a puppy, even though that would have been so nice. So anyway, I'm gonna get off of here so that I can go eat my trash food, so I can be just like everybody else on this lower class, trash, and having a bad attitude and sluggish and needing to take a diarrhea because, you know, the food I eat isn't really nutritious at all. Why not? I just want to be like you guys, normal. Like, that would be amazing. Then I would just blend in and nobody would harass me anymore, and nobody would abuse me. If I were just normal, then I wouldn't be a target to everyone. Easily abused, and then keeps her mouth shut. Like I didn't know already. That's the sad part, as I gave you time. I gave you the benefit of the doubt. And all I ever get is proven right, that you don't deserve certain privileges. And people like me are actually above you. Which is weird, because you wouldn't think so. I have nothing. I have nothing. I come from no one. I am nothing. And yet I still have more stability than a majority of people that have everything, because their psychological well-being is altered. Like they're, you know, psychologically ill a majority of the time, and take their power to an excess, or, you know, all their privileges, rub it in everyone's face. That's why I'm always like so proud to eat the foods that I eat, and I want to share. I'm like, oh my God, look at what I get to eat today. Like fancy stuff. Fancy stuff, it's good. Makes me feel nice. I hope everyone's having a really good weekend so far. I think I'm going to go make another recording of the voicemails that I keep receiving, and upload that today, because I want to disengage. And by doing that, I have to take out the trash. And by taking out the trash, I have to expose the trashy people that keep abusing me. And that's how it is. I don't know why people keep talking about doxing and whatnot. No, I'm just taking out the trash. That's all it is. Please leave me alone. I'm not doing anything to harm anyone. I'm sharing with you what has happened and why I feel so terrible today. August 13th, 2022. Leticia Collins Servin. Have a blessed weekend, everyone.